Well, everybody, how we going? I'm up in Bushmills today in my own native part of the world. I'm with...
We're undercover.
Undercover for it is raining. I'm with the Ulster Farmers Union newly elected president back in July, but to me, this is Farmer Victor. I basically grew up around here. Uncles of mine just basically around you here, and I suppose since I've been a wee nipper, I've known you, Victor. But today we come up to have a wee quick chat with you. Not doom and gloom about the farming industry or what's happening, but Saturday or today, as this video will be going out, is World Mental Health Day, and we wanted to just touch on that. And I know as part of your presidency, it's something that you want to keep working on and focusing on, but you also believe there's a brightness to all of, there's a bright light at the end of this tunnel, because you're a great believer in that agriculture and the farming industry is a very positive thing for mental health, because it's a great, so thanks for inviting us down or letting us come down. I don't know if you got the option. But what's your thoughts on mental health, and what are you wanting to do within the Ulster Farmers Union moving forward to try and approach it and look at it? Because I know you've set some stuff out as part of your presidency, what you would like to do.
Yeah, well, look, thanks for coming down, Gareth, and I suppose this goes with the territory. Anyhow, for all that's watching, hello, and you're welcome down here to Bushmills, the North Antrim coast, and that's right. Gareth was a wee nipper at one stage in his life. Some of you might find that hard to believe, but yeah, he was a wee nipper and he ran about here along with his uncles. But yeah, what do we want to see? What do I want to achieve?
Yes.
I want a sustainable farming industry for the future, for the young people of tomorrow. That's sustainable in every way, sustainable in profitability, sustainable environmentally, and sustainable because, look, we're in a farm here that's been in our family for 6 generations,
yeah.
And we want it to continue, so nobody wants to be the last man there. So sustainability has a lot of aspects to it, and that's what we want. And you know, I'm sure a lot of the farmers in Northern Ireland, nearly every farmer has the same goals.
But that's what you were just saying there before we started, that you're just pointing out there, the dwelling house has seen 6 generations. That's
right. It started off as a single story, then it was a story and a half, then it moved up to 2 stories, and somebody else put on a back return, and I stuck a porch to the front and re-roofed it. You know, and
what is it, build first, design later house then?
Yeah. I know when we were doing it up back in the 80s, when I come up here to live, we picked and plastered it, and it obviously had been built on a slope, as we're in sloping ground, and the earth was up to the bottom of the back windowsills at the back of the house, so I had to dig out a yard at a time and underpin it.
But this particular farm, way back when I was a young one running about, you were best known, I'm going to say, for sheep and beef. And then you've moved within the last 10, 11, 12 years, you've moved also into dairy on this farm. So basically you're doing it all now between the livestock, your beef, sheep and dairy. Is that still pretty much the way it is, or?
Look, I keep the beef and sheep on my end.
Okay.
I count this as my yard, but David's encroaching in here. He brings his dry cows over here so that we calve them over here rather than run over to the second farm yard. That's 550 or 600 metres or yards, whichever. It'd be yards in my day. I don't know whether you're a metre man or a yard man. But 600 yards to go over there. So rather than walk over every night to calve the cows are calved here, then they go over to the dairy yard there. But no, I still keep Charolais cattle, Angus cattle. We produce bulls for sale. 1 or 2 blues. We haven't as many of them as we had at the time. And we still keep Texel sheep and Blackfish sheep, and run a whin of store lambs as well. So I'm still in the beef and sheep. My son came home into the business, and he moved into the dairy. What
do you do, Victor, to help with your mental health? Because it's something that seems to be a big problem, and we know in rural Northern Ireland it is a big issue, particularly among young males, and it's something that I feel we want to reach out. We know GRASSMEN is a lot bigger than just our own local back door. We know we're reaching out across the world, but what can we do? What advice can you give to try and help, or you know, obviously speaking out and talking, but is there anything you do, or what do you like to do, or how do you go about that?
Well, yeah, look, I once heard worry described as a wasted emotion, so I try not to worry. That can be difficult at times, and it's maybe easier said than done. But no, I like to go forward. I like to be positive, and I like to keep that sort of spin on life. When I think back over my farming career, when I started the farm, I probably felt quite inferior to everybody around me. And I kept thinking I was going to be too late at getting the barley sowed, it was going to be too late at doing this. And I worked all the time, I want to go to bed. And probably there was a spring or two that I lost a lot of weight. And when I look back on it, it probably wasn't mental stress, but it was a keen desire to not get behind in anything and to get everything organised. Probably step back and take it a wee bit easier now. What'll be, will be. But look, my theory in life is to be a good farmer, you've got to farm as if you're going to live forever, but you've got to live as if you're going to die tomorrow. So if you've that satisfaction in your own life, you know what I mean, it's a great place to start.
It is, and it is a difficult business. I mean, I'm sure you've had your ups and your downs as well.
You're right, there's plenty of difficult situations, things don't go all well for you, but look, there's plenty of positives too. You go in the springtime and calve a cow or lamb a sheep, there's no better buzz. Look, we are we are a rare breed. I remember when that programme first came out and they called it rare breed, I was horrified. You know, and I thought, gosh, they're calling me a rare breed. But the more you think about it, we are a rare breed. Like, we get up in the morning and we work 7 days a week and we love it. And we farm because we love it. But that's no excuse for our food industry to take us for granted and not pay us correctly. So, look, I think there needs to be a realisation that farmers need a living too. It tends to be the food's sold, everybody takes their cut out of it and the farmer gets the wee bit that's left. It should be the other way around. Somehow, during our lifetime, we've got this upside down. We should start with what it costs to produce in the farm and then build on that.
And is that something that you're going to try and take forward as a positive message to all your members within the UFU and further afield, that we have to try and get a level or a fair playing field for all?
Yeah, we work tirelessly at that, you know, and there's no one silver bullet for this.
No.
This will be a whole series of wee small tweaks. One of the things I think is just morally right is that you should know what you're getting for something before it goes out the farm gate. And our milk goes in, and 6 weeks later we're told what we got for it.
Yeah.
To me, we should be told a fortnight before you produce it what you're going to get. It'll only be a small step, but at least you know what you're getting, and you can make small business decisions too.
You know where the market is, and you know what you're gearing yourself up for. Well, look, Victor, you're heading into, or you come into your, is it a 1 year or a 2 year term?
2 year term.
You come into a 2 year term in the presidency, and probably what's going to go down in the history books as one of the most strange, weird and difficult times when you've stepped in the middle of a global pandemic, which is the COVID-19. You've also coming in at a point in time where the actual Brexit, and I really hate using that word, but it has happened as such, but we now have to make the physical separation. So there's that to steer, there's COVID to steer, there's that to steer, and there's a lot of worry out there in the world at the minute about people in general, their mental health and their state of mind. How do you feel about, you know, the COVID thing? I think COVID-19 in some ways has helped the farmer. What do you think on that? Or do you get what I mean when I say that?
Yeah, well, Gareth, you did mention COVID and you did mention Brexit. What about a new agriculture policy, a new system of support, climate change and carbon and all the rest of it? So yeah, plenty on the inbox. I always remember 4 years I was deputy president, and I always remember after the vote, the Brexit vote, when one farmer said to me, "Boy, you're lucky it'll all be sorted out long before you come in."
No.
And somehow it's just landed right bang on. But I did
you need to find him and slap him.
I did say to somebody, and I think I might nearly regret it now, if you want to lead an organisation, why lead it in a period when everyone's just bobbing along nicely? Why not lead it in a period of change? But I don't know whether I'm beginning to regret that or not. Yeah, there's a lot of big decisions on the inbox. Like at the minute, the big discussion with government and thought is what is a Northern Ireland qualifying trader, what is Northern Ireland qualifying good. These decisions have the ability to either make or break agriculture, let's face it. And yeah, even before COVID-19, I was hearing people at speeches, not maybe with my position, but standing up saying that the next year or the next 18 months was going to be the most crucial in agriculture since the war. And then you introduce COVID-19 on the top of that. So, yeah, there's plenty.
Yeah.
You know, I did pick my moment, but you mentioned COVID-19, and yeah, I think, look, before COVID-19, all you seemed to hear was
I know you're going.
The lobby
I know
was
you're
coming
going.
that farmers weren't looking after the environment, they were wrecking the environment, and yeah, there is things we could do and do better, but like, whenever you do think about what farmers have done, they have looked after the countryside. I've planted 4 or 5 mile of hedges since I came over, planted 2 or 3 areas of trees. Our shed roofs are green. We're working with solar panels for energy, you know, heat exchangers. We're fencing off our water courses where the cows used to go into the water courses to drink. Now they're drinking from a borehole. You know, we're constantly as farmers doing things for the environment, and we haven't got recognised for that. But like, if you take the month before COVID-19, and there was all the green lobby and animal rights lobby and all this seemed to be gaining momentum, all of a sudden,
and even here,
yeah,
there was a few planned things for happening here, but yeah.
In Northern Ireland, you would have thought Northern Ireland would escape, but no, they were starting to happen. Like, all of a sudden, a month into lockdown, people did realise, gosh, one thing we need is food, and it's all very well introducing, bringing our food in from anywhere in the world, but when we fill our shelves with food from anywhere in the world, in a crisis, they go empty.
But when you look at the world map of all your toxins and pollutants and CO2s and all of the rest of it, during lockdown, the earth started to cleanse itself.
That's right.
So don't think farming or agriculture was all of a sudden the greatest thing. And I think the message I would like to get out, and hopefully alongside you, is that to all the farmers and the people working in the industry, you're working in what I consider the best industry in the world. The industry that actually looks after the planet, that doesn't destroy the planet, and you should be proud of that. And don't let the naysayers come in and talk all this talk, because get it into your head, it is the #1 industry, and all we're looking for, and we would like at GRASSMEN, alongside our Ulster Farmers Union and the relevant authorities throughout the UK and the rest of the world, is just a fair price for the farmer, because the farmer is the gardener.
That's right. If it wasn't for the farmer, we'd all have to be farmers in a small sort of way. We'd all have to produce stuff to eat.
That is right.
You know, totally agree. A couple of wee facts. I'm not going to bore you with facts, because I don't think all these facts is good. But there's 24,000 single farm payments in Northern Ireland. A lot of those, some of those are maybe just landowners that are getting it some other way. Quite a number of those are smaller part-time farmers. So you cut that down, what we'll have 10 or 15,000 full-time farm businesses with a contribution from our part-time farm businesses. We produce enough food to feed 10 million people. I'm proud of that, and you as a farmer should be proud of that.
Wow.
Here in Northern Ireland, we're 1.8 million people, and we produce enough food to feed 10 million people. You know, let that sink in. Let nobody tell you that farming's a sunset industry. We have a job to do. It's mainly about producing food, and along with that, looking after the environment, and we will continue to do it. But look, I think, as you say, I totally concur, farming's a great industry. One, the variety of work in it.
Absolutely.
It might be hard work and all the rest of it, but don't let yourself get down. Chin up, boys. We're providing a service for the community.
Absolutely.
All of a sudden, we're key workers. I'm proud to be key workers. And that's the message I want to put out there. And look, COVID's not past. We might have some hairy, bumpy times ahead of us. But look, remember, we're not alone in that. Other industries, how would you like to own a restaurant, been locked down, just opened up, now told that, you can open up if you put a table outside, and with a day like what we have here and the rain chucking it down, maybe facing another lockdown, there's always somebody in a worse position than you are yourself. So farming, I'm passionate about farming, and I hope you're proud of farming. And if you feel the pressure, step back, mind yourself, mind your head, share your problems with somebody else. You will find somebody else to talk to, share them with them. I know we as farmers tend to bottle things up, maybe not good at going to that, but we all have friends. We all have a circle of friends. You might think your friend's not interested. My advice to you is try it and see. You'll find out you will have friends that will be sympathetic.
Thank you very much, Victor, for your time. We'll let you get back to work, and not that you're not really the sort of day for doing much work, but You've maybe more meetings you have.
Well, it is. He's sitting on there at a screen, but I always say about work, it's around this farm, we never stop for a bad day. I always say, Billy Connolly said there's nothing wrong with the weather, it's just the clothing that's wrong.
Very good. Thanks, Victor. And just take what Victor said on board. Be proud of the industry that you're in and keep the chin up. Thank you.